we have to put on the record each one.
So as they come up, continue?
No, we're going to do them all, because he's on all of them.
Oh, they're all his. All right, just, I'm going to start with the first application is Mr. Campbell. I think there may be a request for a continuance on that one. And just for the record, the applicant is Masol Yanez, 515 Plymouth Road, Suite P7, Plymouth Meeting, PA, 19462. The property location is 705 Chain Street, Norristown, PA, and the property owner is New Star Homes, LLC. Mr. Campbell.
Hello? Oh. Okay. We both think that it's likely that that file will have information that's pertinent to the issues before the board for this property. So for that reason, I would request a continuance. I think a municipality would join that request as well. And we'd like to relist, if it could be relisted for the regular May hearing.
Thank you. Dan, would you just announce yourself?
Of course. Good evening, everyone. Deanna Williams from Kilkenny Law on behalf of the municipality. We have no objection to their request for a continuance.
Thank you. So we'll continue this to the regular meeting, May 26th. I'll confirm by letter.
Thank you.
I'll copy you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell, you're on.
Campbell.
Yeah. You also have a request for another matter.
Yes.
Actually, before we get to that, 16-26 you represent is.
Yes, I was, the applicant in 16-26 is my client.
So it was determined after a discussion with you and myself that there's no relief necessary on 1626.
Yes.
That's going to be withdrawn.
Yes,
And the money refunded for the application fee to your client.
that's correct. Thank you.
And
So 1626 is 401 West Logan, if anybody's here for that one. We're not hearing.
1826, 541 Swede Street. Have a request on that as well?
Yes, that that's a first listing for this case. It's fairly far down on this list. I would like additional time to be prepared for that hearing, especially in light of the fact that the municipality is going to be opposing that.
So we have a special meeting scheduled for next week, May 6th. Is that convenient for both of you?
It would be for me.
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll continue that as well to the May 6, 2026 special meeting. And you have one more on the
Yes.
agenda?
That's the last case on the list, at 24-26. The applicant,
151 West Airy Street.
yes, and the applicant is Alejandro Family Revocable Living Trust, / Jonathan Alejandro Jr. I do represent the applicant in that case. It seems fairly clear, given the length of this list, that's not going to be reached tonight. I would ask that that case be listed for the May 6th. And I would also ask, if possible, if that matter could be given some preference, because the applicant is selling the property to a buyer who, or is attempting to, subject to what the, what the board may do with this application, but there is an agreement of sale. It cannot be concluded until there's a decision made with respect to this application. The buyer has a mortgage commitment that has a rate commitment from the bank, but it will expire at the end of May. Or actually, and there's a penalty of $2,000 per month to keep that rate lock in place. So we were hoping, if possible, to avoid my client having the risk of further penalties that he may be responsible for, if we could be placed on that list at some point where we're fairly certain to be heard, it would be really appreciated.
Right, well, so we'll continue that as well to the special meeting on May 6th, and we'll try to give it priority so it doesn't get continued again, so your client or the buyer doesn't lose any more money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we going to put it on record or just announce it?
Announce it now because I already talked to the
Okay.
attorney this evening.
Okay, so just one more announcement before we get started. Application 20-26, it's a request for a variance. The subject property is 307 East Airy Street. That application has also been continued to the May 26th zoning meeting. With that said, we're going to start with application 74-25. It's a request for a variance. The applicant is Edwin Leone, Esquire, 200 Bar Harbor Drive, Suite 400, West Conshohocken, PA, 19428. The subject property is 721 Violet Street, Norristown, PA. The property owner is Juan David Perez Lopez of 1440 Creedley Lane, Collegeville, PA. The applicant is requesting a variance from Chapter 320, Section 320, 41, use regulations to permit a triplex in the R-2 residential district. Good evening.
Good evening, Board. So, just as a recap, we are back here from December, where my client, myself, and the board had a bit of a spirited discussion about this property and about some of the potential uses of that. Now, our original request was making what is currently a mixed-use property, 721 Violet, which is right now 2 apartments and a commercial use. Now, just taking a quick walk down memory lane, Mr. Lopez actually requested a variance for that property some years ago in order to make what was a mini-mart, so a small storefront, into his private office space. This board did request, or did approve that request. Since that, and as part of that approval, the board, and I'm going to read from the board's decision, if that's okay. And I'm reading from the Norristown Zoning Hearing Board Application Number 51-21, property address 721 Violet, applicant David Perez. I'm flipping to page 12, paragraph 20. The subject property has been configured prior to the applicant's purchase as a mixed use with a store on the first floor and a residential use on the second and third floor. The applicant is not changing the configuration of the building. The change of use on the first floor from a store to an office use is expected to create less traffic than the subject property, both customer traffic and employee traffic, as the applicant does not need for his subcontractors to visit the subject property. And if you would just indulge me with two or three more sentences here. The applicant has no intent to entertain customers. A storefront would require the visitation of customers and employees. The use is therefore expected to be less intense than the previous use. Further, and final sentence, the property is configured as mixed use with the storefront on the ground level. The mixed use is not changing.
Mr. Leon, to be a little more specific about the last hearing, your client wanted to convert the property to a triplex.
That's correct.
And then there was discussion from the board, or suggestion from the board that would he consider a duplex?
That's correct.
And then you were going to come back this evening with information about a duplex.
And we're there. And that was going to be, so jumping ahead. So with the feedback from the board, and we had an architect here, Mr. Jeffrey Owens, as well as a real estate professional, Donna, run your last name? Donna Moles. We did two things that the board requested. Number one, we tried to actually rent the commercial space out, and this, it hit the MLS in January. Prior to that, Mr. Lopez actually marketed that property just with signs and basic attempts at $2,500 to no avail, no showings, no phone calls. We came and saw the board and we presented what I think was correctly characterized as a perceived hardship, because we hadn't taken that extra step of actually getting a real estate professional to market it on our behalf. Since then, we did hire a real estate professional, and we reduced the price from $2,500 to $2,300 a month for the just the commercial space itself. From January until present, and I had these statistics from earlier today, there has been 1 call, 0 showings. One of the concerns that, well, the only concern that was received by Ms. Moles was the fact that certain restrictions, that mainly being that people wanted to have customers and employees come into the property, would create an issue because it would intensify the use of the property. And we heard the board's decision, and we attempted to respect that. So we did take the steps to go through and try to market the property as its current use, unsuccessfully. We reduced the price and we're still unsuccessful. Now, we understand that the board was not enthralled or thrilled about the prospect of a triplex, and we heard you. And we came back with a possible design for a duplex. And if it pleases the board, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jeffrey Owens, who is the architect, who's going to tell you a little bit about the duplex. And if anybody has any questions about the prior triplex presentation, we're happy to answer any questions or differences thereof.
Mr. Leon, are you going to have witnesses besides, there are 3 witnesses?
So that's going to, sir, it's going to be depend on the board. I mean, I'm happy to have, I presented what
Well,
needed.
I just want to get them sworn in just in case.
Then
That's
yes,
all.
all 3 if that's okay.
Will the witnesses state and spell their full names, please? Go ahead.
Donna Moles,
Spell it.
D-O-N-N-A, M is in Mary, O-L-E-S.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Owen, Jeffrey-O-W-E-N.
David Perez, B-A-B-I-D-P-E-R-A-Z.
Owen, not Owens, no S?
No S.
Thank you. You all solemnly swear or affirm testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Owens? Okay. All right, Mr. Owen, I apologize.
Yes, no worries. Good evening. As was discussed earlier, when we came here before the board in December, we were proposing a 3-unit building, an existing structure. The building is 2 stories above grade and what we would classify as a walkout or ground floor basement. Our proposal was to keep the existing apartment on the 2nd floor and to convert the commercial space, the office space, which is currently the 1st floor and the ground floor, to 2 apartments, totaling 3. Per the board's recommendations and discussion that we had, we're coming back to convert the office area to 1 unit for a total of 2 apartments in the building. The proposed unit replacing the retail area, or sorry, the office area, would have 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. This would have a separate entrance from the apartment above, and also there is sufficient parking on site. There's 5 parking spots behind the building on the property, and also 1 indoor garage space for a total of 6 parking spaces.
Now, before we move on, can you just quickly, and if I missed it, please forgive me. So the 2 properties, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms would be in each?
Right. The existing apartment that's currently there is on the 2nd floor, and that would remain as is. That has a total of 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the proposed second apartments, converted from the office area, would have between 3 to 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms.
Thank you. Now I'd like to call Mrs. Moles just to explain to us a bit about, should the board require any further explanation as to our attempts to rent the space out, the commercial space that is. And then also, can you please just tell the board a bit about yes, sir, about the possible rentals, the cost of the 2 apartment units, how much it would be rented for, and whether that's more viable than the current use of the office space.
So the owner, Mr. Perez, tried to rent his first floor office for a few months and then contacted me to see if we could enter it into multiple listing, which we did. So it was available for other realtors to show, but we had no showings, none since January when we put it in the multiple listing. The area is really not conducive to retail or office. It's all residential at Violet and Oak Streets. The rent he could receive as 2 4-bedroom apartments is about $2,000 a month for each.
Now, Ms. Moles, if I can, you said 2,000 each, correct?
Yes,
Which, not to sound silly here, but it's obviously less than what he would be receiving at the commercial space, correct? Which is, was this at
yes,
2,300?
yes.
Okay. And you said specifically that the area is not, and you said specifically that, I try not to scream in the mic. You said specifically that the area is not conducive to commercial use.
Yes.
Can you tell me what you mean by that?
It's all residential. I don't know of any commercial uses there in that area.
And do you have a lot of experience in the Norristown area?
I grew up in Norristown. I was born in Norristown, and I worked here for 50 years.
So a few years of experience
Few
here.
years.
Okay. And is it your opinion as a realtor of how many years
50,
that that space would be more conducive as a residential space?
yes.
Okay. If I could, just one more thing. In the passage I read earlier, when the board changed the property from a commercial storefront to a commercial office, private office that is, one of the concerns that they seemed to have, rightfully so, was that the intensity of the traffic in that area. Changing this from a office space to a residential space, would that intensify, creating more traffic or less traffic?
Or less traffic. It would just be for the occupants.
And we already discussed parking. So do you believe that that would be ample parking for the
Oh,
residents?
yes, there's at least 6 parking spaces. I think 5 plus a garage.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
Members of the board, we heard what you had to say, and we really went back and we rattled our brains a bit and tried to come back with something that made sense, not just for the board, but for the community. We tried to reduce the traffic that seemed to be of importance in the original conversion. My client, Mr. Lopez, took the steps to hire the proper real estate professionals and the architectural professionals to make this property something that would fit the neighborhood, the spirit of the neighborhood. And our request is, our request is that you grant our variance so that he can continue to use the property in some way and not just let it sit vacant. I want to open it up to the board and see if there's any questions for either myself, Mr. Owen, Ms. Mole, or my client, Mr. Lopez.
Ms. Williams, do you want to enter your appearance on this file?
Sure. You don't have to move anything, that's fine. Thank you. No, no worries. Hi, again, Deanna Williams from Kilkenny Law on behalf of the municipality. Since the applicants have modified their original request to have it as a duplex instead of a triplex, that is a permitted use in the R2 district. It does allow for twin dwellings and duplex dwellings, provided that those dwellings were designed or originally constructed as such. It sounds like you stated that that was the case previously, so we would not enter in opposition to that variance request.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application? Please step forward. Seeing no public comment, we'll close public comment. Anything else you want to tell the board or offer the board at this time?
No.
Okay.
Question. One question. Are there any design changes planned to the exterior with the proposed use change, like with the large door window?
Mr. Owen?
No, as the current layout of the office area with the windows, the intent would be for everything to stay as is. There's sufficient windows for conversion to the bedroom areas and living room areas as well.
The large ones out front are conducive to a apartment, not just a retail use?
They currently have blinds on the windows, and those would remain as is. The intent is just for an internal conversion. For an internal conversion or an internal alteration.
Just one more question. I think you referred to it as a walkout basement. Does that have shared use between the two proposed units, or would just one unit have access to that?
Currently, the new unit that's replacing or proposed replacement of the office area would be using that as one option for the entry. The second option for an entry to that new unit would be the storefront doors that you had referred to before.
Okay, so the upstairs unit, the existing unit, would not have access to that basement?
That is
Sorry if I
correct.
stepped away.
Yeah, currently the upstairs unit does not currently have access to that side door or that level, so it would remain as is.
Okay, thank you for confirming.
Can I just ask, Mr. Owens, can you just walk us through the layout of this converted unit?
Absolutely. If you're looking at the drawings that were submitted, there's a key plan on sheet A1, but there's also a full larger plan on, I believe it's A2, that has.
I don't think we have the.
We had it last time.
Oh, we had it last time.
How about you point it out, hold it up?
I don't, sure. She only has a.
You didn't give us a duplex. You didn't give us a.
Mr. Liana, at the last hearing where we had testimony, you didn't introduce any exhibits. You referred to some, but
I
we
apologize.
didn't mark anything.
We're going to do this a bit archaic, then I'm going to hold it up and then I'm going to enter it into the record if that's okay.
So we typically mark the application as A1, and then if these plans are marked accordingly, A2 and so forth, if they're the same.
Okay, so does everyone have a copy of those plans currently, just for reference purposes?
I don't have a copy of the duplex.
Did they give us a copy for a duplex?
What was provided to us?
Mr. Owens, maybe you could identify the correct exhibit.
Yes, so it sounds like they have a triplex. So we're going to have to.
Right. The current set of plans that were submitted, that we're referring to tonight, are dated January 5th of 2026. There's 4 sheets, A1 through A4. The drawing set is very similar to the previous submission for the triplex back in December.
We do not have those plans.
Then, if it pleases the board, what I can do is, I can do one of two things. Either I can present it like this from afar, and then I can get everyone copies after the fact. I'm not sure if that's something that's conducive to this hearing here today.
As long as we can keep that copy this
that okay?
evening.
Yes,
That's fine.
that's fine.
So if you describe it and then bring it up, we'll mark it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so that,
Absolutely.
that first sheet will be A2.
Yes, sir, thank you.
You're good, thank you, sir. The sheet A2 for the exhibit is the first floor plan. This is the existing office area. We are proposing basically taking the large open office area, converting it into 3 to 4 bedrooms. This particular plan has 3 bedrooms labeled. There's currently an existing kitchenette in the office area and also 2 bathrooms. Pardon me, 1 bathroom with shower. The alterations reuse the kitchenette as the kitchen. It adds a second bathroom. And as I said before, there's 3 bedrooms and one family room area. There's also an alteration to the ground floor walkout or the basement area. So this particular proposed apartment is 2 stories high, has an internal staircase. There's currently the proposal for that is adding a 3rd bathroom and then containing the mechanical area and laundry area with a larger family room area as extra living room space. The 2nd floor, which is the existing apartment, stays as is with no alterations.
Is there any portion of the converted office going to be below grade?
No.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you're marked as A2?
That one's A2.
And Attorney Saraceni, you want this marked as A2, correct?
Yes.
That one's A2, and
A2 is the first floor plan.
This is just a copy.
no, this is the ground floor plan, which is A3. Those are the 2 exhibits.
And then we're marking the ground floor plan as A3.
Yes.
Can I approach?
Please.
You want to see if she wants to take a quick peek at it?
Mr. Leon, do you have any other testimony or evidence?
Just for the sake of the record, I'm also going to introduce just a copy of the MLS listing, just to substantiate that we did attempt to market it starting back in January.
Ms. Moles, is this your MLS listing, copy of it? Thank you.
And we'll mark this as A4.
Yes.
Thank you, board. That's all we have.
Any other questions from the board? All right. Is there a motion motion to close the hearing for application 74-25.
I'll move to close case 74-25.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. And is there a decision on application 75-24?
Mr. Chairman, I think you want to recuse yourself from
Yeah,
this? You were not present at the first hearing at
I'm going to
December 18th.
abstain from, yeah. Motion on 74-25?
I'll make a motion to approve 74-25 for a duplex.
Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm going to abstain. Motion carries 3-0. Application is approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, the next application this evening is 4-26. This is also a continued application. The applicant is Tia Pagan of 542 Astor Street, Norristown, PA, 19401. The property location is 1100 Green Street, Norristown, PA. The property owner is Rosemarie Delva of 2048 Mill Road, Norristown, PA, 19403. The applicant is seeking a variance from section 320-41 to permit a supervised residential living for no more than 5 youth individuals in the R-2 district. Good evening.
Good evening. Tia, T-I-A. That's Pagan, P-A-G-A-N.
You solemnly swear or affirm testimony about the issue of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Continue.
Okay. My legal counsel is walking in. He's about 10 minutes out. Would I be able to?
You
go
retained an
after?
attorney and he's not here yet?
Yeah.
We'll pass you for now and then come back.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that said, we're going to move to application 10-26. It's a request for a variance. The applicant is Dario Verdine of 3003 North Wales Road, Norristown, PA, 19403. Property location is 516 Walnut Street, Norristown, PA, 19401. The property owner is Fazio Giuseppe of 516 Walnut Street, Norristown, PA, 19401. The applicant is seeking a variance from section 320-41 to permit the use of an auto alignment shop in the R2 residential district.
Josh Brown. Josh Brown, BROWN. Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. Burden, first, can you just talk to me about how you are related to the property? Because I see the property owner is Fazio Giuseppe.
Yes, well, we're currently renting the, location.
You have a lease?
Yes.
Did you pass that up?
I'll give it back to you, but we'll keep it for tonight. So let's mark your application as A1 and the lease for the property dated January 1st, 2026 as A2. And I'll copy it and I'll either send it back to you tomorrow or you can pick it up.
Sounds good.
So, you want to start by telling us what you would like to do with the property?
All right, so our plans for the property is, put an alignment machine for, vehicles, across the street at 367 East Airy Street. My father owns that building. It's a mechanic shop. And, I just want to expand a little bit and do auto alignment at this location.
You plan on being open from, you say 8 to 7?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, and then Saturdays, 8 to 1, Sundays closed.
We currently have parking across the street. And also that building it owns to next of it has, there's a spot there to put 2 cars.
You said parking across the street, do you mean at the other lot
Yeah,
that your
the-
father
yes,
owns?
Yep, the current lot, yes.
What's the address of that property?
367 East Area Street,
Thank you. That's right on the corner of Airy and,
and Walnut, yes.
Can you talk about, how is the property used today?
It's used, how's it used today? It's vacant. Yeah,
It's just sitting now. There was a guy in there before, I believe he was doing welding, and he wasn't doing it legit, so the owner asked him to leave, and that's when we came across the property, and we wanted to try to put a alignment machine there so we can open up for business. So the only thing we want to do is, we just want to change the name. We want to keep everything how it is and just change the name.
what do you mean by change the name?
Well, we don't want to do any welding. Everything that we're doing is air compressor, battery operated, and electric. So there's not going to be any welding or anything like that.
What kind of noise will be emitted from the property?
Well, any noise like putting on tires, things like that. Nothing real bang, bang, anything like that. So
Yeah,
we're going to shut down around about dinner time and open up when the kids, getting ready to go on the bus. And by the time they come home and everybody get ready to eat from work, the place will be shut down and closed.
Yeah, the loudest thing is probably gonna be an air gun. That's pretty much the most noise that, we'll be making mechanical wise.
So you passed up some exhibits. Do you want to talk through what you passed up?
Well, I just wanted to, the pictures that are in this little packet, it's just the layout of the building. As you can see in A, that's the emergency exit. There's a bathroom right there next to the emergency exit. The second page is B. It's just a picture from the middle of the garage, looking towards the garage door. The
Bathroom?
C is the bathroom. D is the picture from all the way from one end, looking out to the garage door. E is in the middle of the garage, looking towards the end of the garage. F, the entrance of the garage. G is, like a rough sketch of how, we want to set it up, the hours of operation. Bottom right, that's where we plan on doing a little office. Got the bathroom, emergency exit, garage door, and then pretty much in the middle is gonna be the line machine. And then picture H is the customer parking. That's where I plan on parking the customers' cars.
Is the building in the far left, is that the subject property?
What?
Towards the front page here.
The last page,
Yes. Yeah, to the left, that's the. Yeah.
that's the property we're talking
Yes,
about.
that's the property we're talking about, yes.
And this picture is from the one that your father owns? so
Yes,
it's right
yep.
across the street.
Yes. That's from,
We'll mark the package, the pictures in the sketch as A3, collectively as A3.
perfect.
And you also, you also supplied a hand-drawn floor plan?
Yes.
We'll mark this as A4, but can you explain it to the board?
So A4 is, the layout of the building, sketch to, the sizes and the dimensions.
We were just trying to give you a size, give you a little picture, a little visualize something of how things would be. If you guys approve it.
Thank you.
And,
Okay, no. I was gonna ask, can you describe for us the vehicles that you'll be servicing, the type of vehicles you'll be servicing?
Well, small cars,
Mini
medium
trucks.
size, medium trucks, heavy wise, like F-450s, 550s, that's gonna be a little bit too big for our line machine, so just, normal little cars and mid-sized vehicles.
Have you assessed the type of volume you expect to do? Cars per day or something like
Probably,
that?
we do them now, we probably get about maybe, I wanna say 5, 10 a day or probably like that.
No, on a good day, we might have, right now, we take them to Mike's alignment in Conshohocken. So on a good day, we might have 4 or 5. Then the next day, we might have none, so.
Get tired of going back and forth, back and
Yeah,
forth. Can you
it's-
drop me off, pick me up, drop me off, pick me up? It's getting old, especially with the gas prices.
Yeah, so, it's hard to say, a rough estimate of how many alignments we do, yeah,
All right, thank you.
problem.
Just a question, the picture that's labeled F, it's this one here.
All right.
It looks like there's 2 garage bay doors.
Yes.
Are both of them associated with this property, or
Yes.
no?
It's one building, but we're just renting out the big, that one is, the owner uses it for storage and stuff like that. He has like wood and stuff, that's not in the lease with us.
So are there any additional uses, to your knowledge, of the property besides the area that you're looking to use and this one that you just mentioned? Or-
No, as far as I know, to my knowledge, before the prior, the guy that leased it before us, he was doing welding. I think he got denied. But before him, this building was like,
Mechanics?
for mechanics, it was, what we're trying to do now, it was a mechanical use, if I'm not mistaken. But, as far as I know, the owner's using it for storage and,
And then, so the only service you're gonna offer out of this location is alignments?
Yeah, alignments, it's anything, mechanical, we do it across the street. Yes.
And is there gonna be any signage associated with the property?
If we do get approved with it, I'd maybe, put something, if you look on F, like above the garage, with the name.
And when the hours of operation.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, are there gonna be any vehicles parked on the public streets associated with this?
Any vehicles that need to be picked up, they're right there on the side, it hold 2 cars, and if so, they can come across the street and pick up the car. There's
Yeah,
plenty of space there.
customers' cars, if you see on page H, we could probably fit like 3 cars at a time. And if we do have more than that, my dad, the parking lot that we have at the garage is, we'll figure something out for extra parking.
So that's a no cars on the public?
No cars on the, no,
streets?
yes, no. Yeah, we had, the neighbors at 367, our cars, employee cars, we park on the street, and, sometimes they get upset with us, so, yeah, customers' cars strictly in our lot.
Will customers access this building at all to make appointments, drop off their keys, pick up their car, make payments, use the
Absolutely.
restroom?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's, if you see,
In the office?
what is it? On page G, bottom right, that's where we wanna have like a little office. Maybe, if a customer does decide to wait for the car, maybe we have 2, 3 customers in that office.
Okay, so that'll be like a customer waiting area as
Yeah,
well as your
if,
office?
we'll try to, have them leave the car, but if they do wanna decide to wait, we'll accommodate them in that office.
Okay, so they'll always be separate from the alignment equipment?
Yeah,
any
yes,
of the-
yep. Yeah, the alignment machine will be further back.
And then we build a little wall where they can sit, glass so they can see through, and they can wait there, like a waiting area.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Municipality?
The subject property is an auto garage located in the R-2 Residential District, proposing to operate as an auto alignment shop. The property did have a former use of an auto body shop, but that use was abandoned. These two gentlemen are here asking for release.
Counselor, are you going to enter an appearance, or?
Deanna Williams for the municipality. I would like to note for the board that the R2 district does have limited special exceptions in which it allows more commercial uses, and I will read that out for the record. So, family daycare homes, group homes, office and light manufacturing uses that include artisan studios or crafts workshops, upholstery services, assembly of finished products, scientific research, engineering, training, administrative or professional office, or other such uses that are similar of scale or intensity. The special exceptions also include residential mixed-use conversions that would include retail stores for groceries, dry goods, coffee shops, tea rooms, internet cafes, personal service shops, including barbershops, hairdressers, shoe repair, tailor, or self-service laundry, professional offices for lawyers, accountants, and other such similar professions, or other uses that are of similar scale and intensity. Neighborhood playgrounds, parks, houses of worship, public, private, or periodical schools, libraries, fire stations, or volunteer fire companies, or sober living homes. It sounds like the gentlemen here are proposing a use that could be a light manufacturing use, but there is a concern about them doing auto work in a residential neighborhood. But should the board see fit to grant them that variance, we would ask that it be for the limited purpose of them doing alignments at that property, and for them to continue doing the rest of the auto work across the street as they noted.
Thank you.
Mr. Verdine, are you comfortable with that? If the board does grant your request
Yes.
to limit the use to just alignments?
Yes, 100%, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm Joseph DiMaria. I represent the owners, and we would like to make a few comments.
Sure. If you want to come up to the podium.
My name again is Joseph DiMaria. I'm a member of the Montgomery County Bar, and I have Mr. Giuseppe Fazio with us, who, along with his wife, are the owners of the building. Now, let me just make, I guess you could say, a preliminary statement or an offer, by way of an offer of proof, as Mr. Fazio has a rather heavy accent. So let me set up the facts, and then if the board has any
That's fine.
questions. Mr. Fazio and his wife purchased this building in 2002, and at that time he had a contracting business, and he used it to house his equipment, repair his equipment, and he also allowed, I think, a mechanic to use a portion of the building. About 7 or 8 years ago, he retired, and he's had about 4 tenants. Always had a license for each tenant, and it was essentially mechanical type work. The last one, unfortunately, as the board knows, the fella got in there and attempted to do, in fact, he did do welding work, and as a result of that, I evicted him. I took steps to evict him. But if you take a look at the picture of the building, you can see that that is not a residential garage. It was constructed as a commercial garage. The measurements on the one exhibit there indicate it's 70 feet deep, 33 feet wide, and 11 feet high. So it has no residential use. And although we don't know exactly when that building was constructed, I don't think I would be out of line suggesting to the board that it's probably anywhere from 50 to 100 years old. And it has constantly been used either for storage or commercial mechanic purposes. As I indicated, 7 or 8 years ago, since when he retired, he's had about 4 tenants in there. He's always had a license for it. The one incident where the fella got in there and was doing the welding, we took steps to evict him when we found out that he wasn't abiding by the proper use. So I would respectfully suggest to the board that to deny this use or a similar use, and I would suggest to the board that an alignment shop is probably one of the least noisy types of mechanical work you could do, okay? And if he's not permitted, if my clients are not permitted to continue to lease this building out for light mechanical work, or as in this instance, it's going to be restricted to alignment only, would amount to essentially an unconstitutional taking of the property without compensation. So we respectfully request that as the borough's lawyer has indicated, there would be no problem restricting the use for alignments only. Parking would be across the street from the building that his father owns, and it's essentially not going to change the character of the neighborhood. This is, for all intents and purposes, I would say it's a prior non-conforming use that's been there for many decades in that purpose. So we respectfully request that the board grant the exception, and it will be limited to alignments. And now, if you have any questions, Mr. Fazio, you could direct them to him, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability.
Board have any questions?
Councilman, questions?
Williams?
Sure, I would just like to know for the board that Mr.
Di Maria, yes, yes.
had noted that there might be some sort of unlawful taking, but I wanted to note for the record that the Supreme Court has decided that mere economic hardships are not enough to justify a variance.
We're not going to entertain constitutional arguments this
Of
evening.
course not.
But thank you.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough, John. That's it, that's it.
Anybody else from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application? Please speak up now. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Anything else you want to tell or offer the board?
No, just, I think, the alignment shop would be, good to the community. I compared prices with Midas and Pet Boys and, price-wise, a little bit higher, but overall work-wise, we had customers come, hey, I just got tires done, got the alignment done. The car wasn't, aligned properly because, the suspension was off, and, we just, at least me and my father, we're honest people, and we always try to do good for the people and the community, so, yeah, just throwing that out there.
Just know that integrity never goes out of style.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, does the board want to make a motion to close the hearing for application 20-26? I'm sorry, 10-26?
I'm so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Is there a decision on the application?
I'd like to make a motion to approve application 10-26 for the requested relief.
Subject to the no cars parked on the street or blocking the sidewalk, and limited to alignments only.
Yes.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Application's approved, subject to the conditions.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Is Ms. Pagan present? Pagan? No? Okay.
We'll pass her again.
She did come, the attorney, her attorney came in.
Sure, here.
No, she's here.
Ms. Pagan?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Frank Turner, representing Frank Turner, representing Tia Pagan and One Nation Leadership Academy. And so, just a kind of an introductory statement. If you guys don't have any questions starting off. Oh, certainly. Yeah, I have an introductory statement. If you guys don't have any questions starting off. And I noticed in the last hearing, the applicant stated that the property was going to be a family style residence. In actuality, it will be a licensed group home through the DHS. The licensing is not able to happen until the zoning happens. And so I just wanted to put that on the record. And so with that, we're, rather than asking for a variance, we think that the property should be, can be approved as a special exception because because it will be a care home that serves 5 or fewer individuals. And the building code in Norristown refers to care homes housing 5 or fewer individuals as an R3. Now, the zoning code doesn't have an R3 designation, but we believe that the actual use here, even though it is a group home, because it's a family style group home, and it will be, there will be at least 1 resident staff and 5 or fewer kids that are being housed there consistently, and this won't be a transient kind of situation. We believe that it should be seen as that it should fit under a special exception in this case. It's a similar use to the actual use is similar to the neighborhood as it stands, and the zoning code as it stands.
Sorry, can you keep your voice up a little bit?
Sure. We're saying that the actual use will be similar to a resident, an R2, and will fit into the neighborhood, even though in actuality it will be a licensed group home.
Anything else you want to tell the board? Or any other witnesses you have?
Ms. Pagan here, since the last hearing, I think we do have, we actually have folders for you guys. I guess those haven't been passed out yet, but if you can use that. So in the last hearing, I noticed that you guys asked for Ms. Pagan's credentials, and so her resume, as well as the corporate filing for the 501c3, that she's the executive director of, and other relevant documents are there, including the lease.
So, Mr. Turner, is there a lease in this package?
I believe that there is a lease in that package. And I think it's the same one that was presented in the last hearing that had electronic signatures. Okay. Let me see. Does everyone have one? I believe the actual application still,
Mr. Turner, the lease that was presented at the last hearing was not signed.
okay. I believe
So-
that the one that you have there is signed, has electronic signatures.
Yeah, this one is signed by all parties, so we're going to mark that as A5.
Understood, thank you. I believe in your folders, there should also be the articles of incorporation for nonprofit. And so the board can note that that the registered office for this nonprofit, One Nation Leadership Foundation, Inc. One Nation Leadership Foundation, Inc.
Mark the articles of incorporation as A6.
Thank you. And the board can note, Ms. Pagan is listed as the contact and the registered office is the same address as she's used as her home address in the application. I believe in your packet you also have an EIN letter. An EIN letter, which would be the employment identification number letter that the corporation received from the IRS, under which it's filed it's registered as a 501c3.
It's only one copy of that.
Okay. Now, Ms. Pagan said there's only one copy of that, so that may not be in your packet. Ms. Pagan said that there's only one copy of that one, actually, so that may not be in your packet, but I think she can provide that for you.
Ms. Pagan, you also had a floor plan included in your package. So I want to mark that as A7, if you could describe for the board the rooms and what you intend to use them for. Bedrooms are obviously used for bedrooms, but
Okay.
anything else, common areas, et cetera.
Okay. When you walk in, there is the, as soon as you walk in, there's a common area, which we use as the living room. The kitchen is set up. There are stairs up to the second floor. The second floor, as soon as you come to the top of the steps, there's bedroom 1. Then there's a bathroom right next to bedroom 1. There's an additional bedroom, which is bedroom 2. And then bedroom 3 is the front of the house. There's also a closet on that side. A staircase goes up to the 3rd floor. Then there's bedroom 4 and bedroom 5. There's also a bathroom on floor 3.
Is there, are there going to be on-site staff
Yes.
as part of this? And how many children do you plan on having?
No more than 5.
So is it really no more than 4? Because where's the staff going to stay?
The bedroom, I'm intentionally looking at bedroom 3, which is on the second floor, which is one of the larger rooms, to put 2 beds into 1 room.
So staff is going to stay with one of the...
Staff will have their own room, so staff will be on the 3rd floor.
I see 5 bedrooms total, correct, in the house?
Yes.
So if one's reserved for the staff, that only leaves 4 potential children living there, right?
For clarification, I think she means that in bedroom number 3, 2 of the children will share that bedroom.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
In order to
Thank
make
you.
room for the resident staff, which is an update to the plan based on your questions at the last hearing.
I have another question about the staff. I see that all their minimum requirements or qualifications and a lot of the certifications that they have to pass. Do they have to have any prior experience in this type of work before they're hired?
Yes, absolutely. They do have to have some type of experience. I am expecting at least 3 years of experience in this type of work.
Okay, so that would be added to your minimum qualifications list?
Yes.
3 years of experience?
Yes,
In addition to the certifications?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, quick question, can you talk a little bit about the clients you're looking to serve with this group home? Is it going to be children with handicaps? Like what type of children are you looking to serve here?
Based off of how the house is structured, handicap we would not take because it will not be as accessible. We could make interior changes and make it accessible, but right now the focus is on children who don't have stable placements in housing.
I can add that the children will be placed by DHS or by the local OCY office. So at this point, there's no information who exactly it will be. So at this point, there's not information who exactly it will be, but
What are the minimum and maximum ages the children would be? And can you just confirm they would be the same gender?
Yes, they will all be the same gender. We are planning starting with boys and doing all boys. The ages will be from 12 to 17.
When someone turns 18, what happens?
Usually you try to transition them into a transitional living facility before a certain age. It's just more of a placement stability until they can find the transitional living.
I have another question. Counsel, do you have the definition of a group home under the municipal code by chance?
I believe I do. Hang on 1 second. I can pull that up, yes. Hold on 1 minute.
If not, I can read it.
Okay.
So, definition of group home is a residential facility used as a living quarters by any number of unrelated persons requiring special care and their attendant adult supervisors, specifically designated to create a residential setting for the mentally and physically handicapped as a special exception. The individuals may be either transient or permanent residents. And then it goes on to say any number of persons with disabilities as defined under Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended by the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988. I have the right to occupy a dwelling unit in the same manner and to the same extent as any family unit. So my interpretation of that, it's pretty explicit. It says setting for mentally and physically handicapped, and then I think the testimony of your client was that wasn't the population that she was serving.
Correct. I believe that the definition may not be exhaustive with mentally and physically handicapped. In this case, it is people who are under 18 who do require adult supervision, and so we believe that in this case, additionally, the facility will be licensed by Department of Human Services as a group home for children. So the Norristown zoning code definition might not be as broad as the state definition. However, we believe that in this case, it should be defined as a group home, in that the children being served do require adult supervision in the same way that a mentally or physically handicapped group of individuals would.
So when you came in front of us previously, one of the questions I asked you was, had you spoken to the neighborhood, the individuals and the neighbors, to see how they felt about what your proposal was? And can you please provide that information again? And just expand on, how many people you spoke to and what the feedback was?
When I started moving things in, I did speak to a few different people. They were curious on, who was moving in and what was happening. I spoke to one lady from the neighborhood. She was 2 blocks down from 1100 Green Street. She was interested in what was going on with the group home, and this was one of the people who invited us to bring the kids to church and just have some religious background if we chose to. I did speak to another, it was a guy from across the street. He had a few kids. He said it was a pretty friendly neighborhood. They had a bunch of kids within the neighborhood, so it was a pretty good neighborhood to have children in that neighborhood.
Well, my question again was, did you speak to anyone in that neighborhood, and did you tell them what your proposal was? And did they give any feedback on your particular proposal?
I did let them know that we were proposing a group home, but I just left it at that.
In that neighborhood? In that
Yes.
particular neighborhood? You
Yes.
spoke to individuals, just 1, 2?
It was 2.
I'm sorry?
2.
In that particular block, so in 1100 block of Green Street?
Yes, on that block.
Okay, and in addition, when you talk about getting children from OCY, the Office of Children and Youth, some of the children can come with disciplinary issues. What I didn't see, and not that it's not in your plan, I don't see anything on either the front door, the back door, I guess, or the windows, any type of alarms or any type of thing that would alert someone if somebody was coming in or out of the home.
As far as that, DHS does have a requirement of things that we do need to have in compliance before we can even move forward with placing the children.
Okay, so in other words, it's not in the plan? Is that what you're saying? It's not on the spec that you gave?
No.
Yes.
I
You
think,
didn't
for
give that?
clarification, I believe that what Ms. Pagani means is that at this point, it's not in the plan. However, I think she believes that it is part of what DHS will require when they do the inspections for the licensing, which would have to happen after the zoning is approved. She's not able to apply for the licensing through DHS until the site is secured and properly zoned.
And in the documentation also that you presented, you listed, I guess, some certifications but it doesn't actually say where the certifications came from. And I know when you came in front of us previously, you discussed that you're a foster parent for OCY?
Yes.
And so were some of those certifications done in order for you to be a foster parent?
Yes.
Okay. And
Additionally, we have a copy of the fire safety and evacuation plan for the facility that was prepared by, I believe it's not, might not be in the folder. It was prepared by Ms. Pagan, by the applicant. If you guys would like a copy of that.
Want to introduce? Sure.
And if
Mark
I-
it as A8, sorry.
If I look at, if I'm looking at your resume correctly, you have not graduated yet with your bachelor's. You're expecting to graduate in May.
Yes, on Sunday.
But it is, I believe, your testimony from the last time you came in front of us that due to the fact that you fostered 3 kids, you believe that you have the experience necessary to run a facility of this nature.
Yes. Currently, since then, I now foster 6 children in our house. 2 are siblings. We have 2 sets of siblings. 1 that is not a sibling. We have 2 sets of siblings, 1 that's not a sibling. We have, okay, so let me start. We have a 2-year-old, we have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
And I believe the last time you were in front of us, one of my colleagues asked you if you had spoken to anyone who runs a facility of this nature so that they could kind of give you the gist of things and what actually needs to go in plan, which actually, since the first time you came in front of us, you didn't have any paperwork. So this is definitely upscale from what it was previously. But did you take the time to meet with anyone who has run a facility for a certain length of time?
No, I have not spoken to anyone on that. I did a lot of research personally myself on how to operate and run a business and run a facility for the children. I'm kind of using and utilizing what I'm learning from my own home experience with my 6 foster kids, how to operate and teach them how to maneuver in everyday life. It's been going pretty good. All the kids are great kids. All have different needs, different backgrounds. So I am learning personally from my own experiences and just my research on different websites, different Instagram profiles, websites.
And I want to know from you how imperative you think it is that the neighborhood is supportive of your agenda, seeing as though that you really didn't speak to anybody really in the neighborhood for something like this to be successful.
For clarification, I believe that Ms. Pagan testified that she spoke to the lady that lives 2 doors down from 1100 Green Street, and also a gentleman that lives across the street. So it was only 2 individuals, I believe, but they were people that were on that block in that particular neighborhood.
Did she say 2 doors down or 2 blocks down?
2
Because I
down,
thought I
2
heard her
doors
say
down.
2 blocks.
No, 2 doors.
2 doors.
Okay. I think the first testimony you said was 2 blocks, but okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you heard that, I apologize.
I have a question about, just going back to the staff. How many staff members do you anticipate having, and do you include yourself as a staff member? And like, what is your role? Are you a supervisor, manager, or how does that work?
Yeah, I would oversee and I would be a director. The person who is living in the home would be the direct supervisor and also a director. And then we plan on having 2 additional staff throughout the day, alongside with the person that lives in the home.
So total of 4 staff members?
Yes.
Right, with yourself being the main director. Okay. Can you speak to your background on managing staff, supervising individuals?
Yes. I've worked in camp settings. I worked in different schools throughout Norristown. I worked in schools throughout Plymouth Meeting. And a lot of my background with staffing has been keeping them in compliance with a lot of different things. My wife was also helping me with everything. She is the CEO of a karate company in Philadelphia, so she runs a lot of the staffing organization there. So I am learning piece by piece what I need to know for how to staff and make sure they stay in compliance and have everything they need for DHS.
You said you worked in schools, and you were a direct supervisor of
I wasn't a
individual-
direct I wasn't a direct supervisor. I worked directly in behavior, so I was the person that everybody came to just to figure out where the children, like how to manage the children.
Yeah, but you weren't responsible for supervising staff members, disciplining them, correcting them, evaluating them at all?
No.
Thank you.
I have another question. So are you aware of the requirements under the zoning code for fire safety precautions for group homes?
Not particularly.
So I was taking a look at your Exhibit A8, which outlines your fire safety and evacuation plan. And one of the requirements specifically under Section 216B, there's actually two that talk to fire type safety plans. And one is a fire sprinkler system, a compliant fire sprinkler system needs to be installed, as well as a fire alarm system that's compliant with the municipal code also needs to be installed. But I didn't see that in your Exhibit A8 that you passed up around fire safety.
I think I can speak to that. There's another inspection and licensing process that DHS will conduct before any children can be placed in the home. At this stage, it's the zoning of just the zoning of the property. The state will review the facility itself and ensure that if sprinklers need to be installed, that they will be installed before the facility can begin to function.
Understand, Council, but before we even get to that inspection, this is a requirement specifically under the zoning statute of Norristown. So this is even before you get to whatever the state requires you to do.
I believe that the organization would accept a proviso in which.
Sorry, say, I
I
couldn't-
believe that the organization could work under a proviso if you guys required a sprinkler system to be installed before the zoning is approved. That would be, I believe that might be an applicable solution.
You're trailing off there.
I think that might be a good solution in this case.
So just to make it clear, so if the board does grant your special exception, you're prepared to install whatever you need to install to be compliant with the zoning ordinance?
I believe that.
Yes.
Yes. Based on the fact that would have to happen. I understand that's a requirement of DHS for a group home as well, so it's not written in the plan. It will be part of the plan.
So I'll be honest, in reading your resume, unless I'm missing something, I don't see where any of your experience was working in a group home facility. So it appears a little bit of a stretch to me that you would be taking on the position of running a facility, having never worked in one, to see what problems arise in these type of facilities. So can you help, because fostering children is completely different than being in a group home facility and running a facility, and as my colleague said, running staff and making sure everything, the ins and outs are going. So I don't see your career history in that, and I don't see your educational history in training in that based on what you've given to us. So could you please provide me some additional information or some additional something that would indicate your qualifications to be able to run a group home facility?
Ms. Burnett?
And so let me give you two questions because I'll probably forget the next one. It said age for staff, age 21 and above, but I thought you said the kids could be 12 to 18, right?
17.
12 to 17? Okay. But the first part is what I'm more interested in.
I believe that you did testify that you worked as a behavioral specialist at several schools in Norristown as well as Philadelphia?
Yes.
And you also foster 3 and now 6 children in your own home?
Yes.
And you will earn a bachelor degree as of 4 days from now, correct?
Yes.
In psychology?
Yes.
If you can add anything else to that. I think you also said that your partner does handle staffing and that she also assists with the management of the
Yes.
of the nonprofit thus far. And I'd like to reiterate that
So was your, because you're talking a little bit low for me.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
was your testimony stating that because she's getting ready to get a bachelor's degree in psychology, and because, I didn't hear what the first thing was, she's did what?
that she has worked as a behavioral specialist for how many years in Norristown and Philadelphia schools?
In Norristown and Philadelphia, I have been doing this since 2016.
Okay, so 10 years. Without direct management experience, however, she is the executive director of this 501c3. And I'd like to reiterate that DHS does have its own process that under which this facility will be licensed as a group home under DHS's requirements, which I think might be more stringent than the zoning code requires.
With all due respect, I don't think my question was answered. My question was, because based on the resume that she gave us, and the most years I've seen at any one position was 3. So I'm in different positions. So the most she's worked anywhere on the resume she gave us was 3 years. I'm asking specifically, what qualifications do you feel that you have, having never worked in a group home facility, that you will be able to run a facility, was my question.
My organizational leadership background.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
My organizational leadership background. Those are some classes that I took as a minor in, that I am graduating from. Also with DHS, even with me having a bachelor's, I also have to have another additional director with a bachelor's or higher.
So you're saying that you would have to have someone else working with you? Is that
Yes,
what
I
you're
can have
saying?
someone work alongside me, yes.
And so then how many staff would in total there be?
The person that I am trying to fulfill for the position inside the house, I do want them to have the bachelor's or higher. That is a requirement.
Do you currently have a board of directors?
Yes,
And how many people are on the board of directors?
there are 4 of us.
And what backgrounds do they have?
They all have master degrees.
Any other questions from the board? Anything else, any other testimony you want to present?
We have nothing further at this time.
I'll go to the municipality.
The subject property is a single-family home within the R2 Residence District, with the applicant proposing to provide 24/7 supervised residential living for no more than 5 youth individuals.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Sorry, we would just ask that if the board decides to grant this application, that they be required to comply with all the conditions of special exceptions for group homes listed in the Norristown Code. That would be Code Section 320-216, which would include the sprinkler system as noted by Mr. Matthews, as well as applying for the group home permit, which would require a written statement describing how the facility will have adequately trained staff supervision for the number of residents and their related disability or disabilities. Also, a dimension floor plan indicating the size of each room, including separate sleeping rooms, identifying the maximum number of residents to occupy each room, to demonstrate that the group home will not be overcrowded and that it will be in compliance with all applicable zoning, building codes. And if this, since it's in the residential district, we'd ask that the appearance remain as closely similar to the nearby dwellings.
Thank you. We'll open up for public comment. Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application, please form a line at the podium.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Tara Ruffin. I am Tara, last name R-U, F as in Frank, F as in Frank, I.
Swear or testimony you have is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
A little nervous because public speaking is not my best. So I'm actually a resident on the 1100 block. There's actually a couple of us on that block. We're not notified about the group home. When she said, there was a couple things that I had here that I was writing down when they were talking. And originally we thought there was gonna be girls. And now we came back, she's saying that it was boys between 12 to 17. Staff, it's gonna be like 4. We already don't have a lot of parking as it is. We have handicap spots that are designated. My questions would be, I take care of my mom. There's a lot of people on that block that take care of their parents. A lot of us have been there since the beginning, since I was young, and I don't think it's a good idea, just because, I mean, just listening to everything they were saying, it was kind of like a nonchalant pushing everything aside with the questions that you were asking. I'm thinking of safety. I'm also thinking of what happens when they get out of control. Where are they going to be when it's downtime? Are they going to be outside? What's going to happen? Our neighborhood is quiet, fairly. But it's just the work ethic, when they were talking about 4 staffs being there. We also have to the point where, what if there's a gas? Because we normally, if we smell gas, are they capable to know that there's gas? Who are they gonna call? She said that she will be the director, but it doesn't seem like if something happens, she's not gonna be involved. For me, to say that you talk to 2 people, that's not enough people for me. I mean, because we all, once we heard it, we did not agree with that. There's just way too many things. Like, we have people from the next block. There are not that many kids. Most of them are older. And if you're gonna do 12 to 17, you know, you got cars, you got everything. It's just, to me, it's just not gonna be safe. It's like us gonna go backwards to try to make sure that our neighborhood is safe. I mean, to me, I sound like my parents listening to them, but now listening and hearing everybody, now I understand what they're talking about. And for us, like, it's just me and my mom, and I know that I don't want trouble, and I know I can go 0 to 100 real quick if I'm tested. And I don't want to have any kids disrespect me. I'm a grown woman. We're all grown. I don't need any kids talking down to me. And even though you say that you have supervision, what happens if they get out of control? What's the next step? Like, are you going to listen to us when we complain, or are you going to dismiss us, thinking that, you know, that's just the neighborhood? The neighborhood sticks together. We are here because we disapprove of it. We were not told, like I said, a lot of us, once we heard it, we were shocked because we didn't know about it. I mean, because I'm pretty sure that if she talked to one of us, we'd have gave her 1,000 reasons why we wouldn't have accepted that. And I just think that if something happens, and when they were talking about, when you were talking about like the safety, there's plenty of places that if one of the kids decide to leave, there's a lot of places for them to hide. So, I mean, I know that if something happens, I don't want anybody in my yard looking around when if you're telling me that you're watching all the children, you shouldn't be in my yard, because everybody should be accounted for. And that's pretty much all I
Thank you.
have. Thank you.
Appreciate it. But the only thing I ask is if we can please try and be succinct as possible. We don't
As
have an
what?
official
Fast?
timer,
Oh, okay.
but just asking if we can be as succinct as possible so we can get through everybody and everybody gets to be heard.
India Ballard. India Ballard. Yes. 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 Hi, I lived on that block all my life. So I just want to say, the parcel located at 1100 block of Green Street is, in particular, and surrounding area has seen stages of quiet and calm, elevated conflict and disturbance from tenants of rental properties. Today, our neighborhood is harmonious and peaceful, and therefore voicing our concern regarding our youth home is paramount to those living in this area. Again, our youth are the future, of course. However, we have no idea if this group home will not have a negative effect on our neighborhood. We have fought many battles over the years trying to keep peace and safety our priority. At this stage, with many residents being seniors, to face another battle will be not advantageous, but burdensome. This is a residential area and not suited for agency, housing, at-risk youth, or other social services. Let's see. This residential area, okay, not suited for. It violates zoning ordinances and may cause unwanted safety issues and neighborhood disruption. Granting this variance will cause a negative precedent for future exceptions. So, I mean, this is very important to our neighborhood. So we're asking that I have 32 names here from people who signed. I don't know who she talked to, but we have the majority of people on our block and some in the surrounding area, Spruce and Basin. So we, the undersigned residents, request the rejection for the appeal for variance. Reject the request 426, request for a variance at 1100 Green Street, etc. Okay, that's all I have. It violates zoning ordinances that may cause unwanted safety issues and neighborhood disruption. And again, granting this variance will create a negative precedent for future exceptions. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. you.
Good evening, everyone. Denisha Carroll, DeNishia Carroll.
Swear or affirm testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. So I'm going to be real short. My family has lived in the 1100 block of Green Street for 85 years plus. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, we all went through trials and tribulations through that, in the neighborhood, from boys standing on the corner to people getting shot to SWAT teams showing up at people's house. And that one, to be exact, maybe 3 years ago. So when we come out tonight, we're just asking for you guys to hear our voice. We've had enough of policing other people's children, other people, period, over the years. So we're just, looking to you guys to be responsible in your choice tonight. The group home could be a success, but we can't take the risk of the unknown. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Hi. Laura Gonzalez, Lora Gonzalez.
Swear or affirm testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Hi, my name is Laura Gonzalez, as I said. I do live around the corner from the property in question. I just wanted to say that to have a group home of boys ages 12 to 17, which everyone in here knows is the most challenging years of a boy in a group home, where we're around bunches of residential neighborhoods. I mean, we have residents, there's no commercial properties around this neighborhood. It's all residential, single-family homes. Spruce Street, Green Street, up and down Green Street, Basin Street, up and down Basin Street. And to have this group home would be very challenging. It's challenging when you are a parent of your own biological kids and you have boys in the home and we are trying to discipline them. You're talking about 5 different boys coming from different backgrounds, different parents, living in one household, and we're looking as if there's nothing's going to happen. I have nothing against boys being raised by different people, but it's just that this will be a very challenging thing. We don't need something like that in the neighborhood, because we have gotten the neighborhood back down to where it's quiet, where it's peaceful, where we don't have a lot of things going on. And to have these 12 to 17-year-old boys in the neighborhood, we have no idea what to expect and what to come of it. So I am against the group home.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Counsel? Yep.
And thank you for sharing, neighbors. And I'd like to say I understand your concerns. However, I'm not sure that the concerns listed there that the neighbors so kindly put forth are applicable in this case. They appear to be discriminatory. The very first statement was that at first they thought it was girls, but now it's boys. And so if it would have been acceptable for girls and it's not acceptable for boys, that seems like a gender discrimination that I don't think would be an appealable basis for denial. Further, the concerns really were based on conjecture and worry about, again, boys of a certain age who I would argue have a right to live in a decent neighborhood and a residential neighborhood. I believe what Ms. Pagan is trying to do is have a group home facility that doesn't treat the kids like a group home facility, have it be more of a family style situation without any transients, and with the addition of a resident caregiver that would create the continuity that a family would have outside of the, I believe, 2 other people coming to relieve that caregiver during the day, during the week. I don't think that there's a practical way that this would not function any differently than a family of 5 that moved into the area. In this case, because it's classified as a group home, the neighbors might have the opportunity to object, but I reiterate that it didn't sound like the objections were based in zoning code and may be appealable as, on their face, discriminatory against boys, at least. Okay. Understood. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Ms. Williams?
Hello again, Ms. Williams for the municipality. I would just like to reiterate that there are requirements for group homes, for special exceptions even, and they speak to a lot of the concerns that the board has already raised. One of which the fire alarm system, as we already discussed, and also one that I didn't mention before, and that is that all non-resident caretaker employees must be qualified with training or experience to provide proper supervision and care to the residents of the group homes. So I would again just ask that if the board sees fit to grant this application, that the applicant be required to strictly conform with the requirements as listed in 320-216, the special exception conditions in the Norristown Municipal Code for group homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Just for any summation you want to offer the board or anything else? Just want to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, in closing, I would like to add that there's an additional licensing process that will be done by Department of Human Services, specifically for the group home for children of this age, done by the department that handles that for the state. And this has more to do with the neighborhood character. Additionally, as far as the requirements are concerned, I'm certain that that the organization will comply with the zoning requirements under the special exception, as they will be required to comply with the DHS requirements, which my understanding are more strict.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Board.
That said, is there a motion to close the hearing for the for application 4-26?
So moved.
Is there a second on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The hearing's closed.
I suggest to the board that you wait to make your vote at the next regularly scheduled meeting, May 26th.
Is there a reason why? Excuse me? Oh, that's, but she didn't testify.
I'm going to go off the record for just a moment.
Ed, you ready to go back on the record? Back on the record?
All right, so where we left it is a motion, some sort of motion on application 4-26. Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to deny application 04-26, request for a variance.
Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm going to abstain. Motion carries 3-0. Applications denied.
May I approach and hand out a packet?
Sure. So just real quick, while we're preparing for the next application, looking at the time, just want to see if anybody would like the board to entertain a continuance. Just so you guys know, pursuant to the zoning hearing board rules, the zoning hearing board will not hear any applications that begin after 10 p.m. So throwing it out there now. Anybody want to? May 6th, yeah. All right, we'll continue then. All right, the next application we have is application 1126. It's a request for a variance. The applicant is Mark Malfara and Dan Kane of 721 Skipback Pike, Bluebell, PA, 19402. The property location is 1415 DeKalb Street, Norristown, PA, 19401. The property owner is Turning Point Management, Inc. of 707 Prospect Avenue, Fort Washington, PA, 19403. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 320-292A2A3, restoration or reconstruction to permit the use of an abandoned triplex in the OCR District. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Edmund Shin. I am counsel for the applicant, and out of respect for the board's time and the public's, I'd like to make an offer of proof.
Sure. Please
My
do.
client's here with me today and can answer questions. So, in accordance with our packet, we're seeking to renew an abandoned triplex license. This property is an existing triplex. Converting it back to a single family or a duplex would be a hardship since it is already configured as a 3-unit building with separate utilities. I have evidence that this is a long-standing triplex. Montgomery County lists it as a 3-unit property on the Montgomery County website, which I have included. It was listed as a 3-unit building when it was subdivided in 2021. The subdivision plans show it as a 3-unit building, and I have a certified copy of those subdivision plans should the board wish to have them. I have photographs that show separate gas meters, separate electric meters, separate electric panels, separate hot water heaters, separate heating systems, trash staging areas with separate trash cans for each unit, separate mailboxes for all 3 units, and parking for 6 cars. There is also a fire escape. I've included photos of the property, both interior and exterior. To give a little bit of context, this property was purchased along with the CHOP Hospital, which was subdivided and then developed. It is surrounded on 3 sides by hospitals, which I have listed and photographed in the packet that I have provided to you. Those hospitals are CHOP, Delaware Valley Community Health, and Mercy Life. Does the board have any questions?
Just real brief, when did your client acquire the property?
State employee full name.
Daniel Kane, Daniel Kane. Was-
Swear or affirm testimony about the case of the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do. The property was purchased in 2021.
And when you purchased the property in 2021, was it occupied, partially occupied, vacant?
It was fully occupied at the time.
And when you purchased the property in 2021 and subsequent to that, did you obtain rental licenses on the property?
I did not.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why you didn't obtain a rental license?
I've been thinking about the answer to that question for a while. To be honest with you, I don't have a great answer. I, at the time, was dealing with some personal challenges that I am looking to move past, and this is part of that moving past process.
Got it. And the property is currently occupied with tenants today?
It is.
And if the board grants the relief requested, you're amendable to paying any back due rental licenses to 2021?
I
When you
am.
acquired the property? That's all I have. Anything else from the board? Go to the municipality.
The subject property is an abandoned triplex located in the Office Commercial Retail District. The last valid rental license obtained was in 2023. And before then, we have a history of them having one since as early as 2020, so 3 years before. We had I'm sorry. Yeah, the last, we have rental license history all the way up to 2020 from today.
Thank you. With that said, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody?
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. So you have rental licenses till 2020, you said?
Yes, so from today till 2020.
Okay,
Before then, we don't have anything at our side of the system.
okay, and it was for 3?
Yes, it's for 3.
Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application? Please speak up now. Seeing no public comment, we'll close public comment. Any summation or anything else you want to tell the board?
Sure. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Shin, we're going to mark your application as A1 and your exhibit packet as A2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that said, is there a motion to close the hearing for application 1126? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Is there a decision on the application?
I'll make a motion to approve application, is it 11-26?
1126?
11-26 for the requested relief with the condition that all past due rental fees, licensing fees be paid to the municipality dating back to 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 for the requested relief, subject to the conditions.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to commend township staff. They have been a pleasure to work with. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to application 12-26. It's a request for a variance. The applicant is John Brodier. Apologies if I mispronounced that. 1616 Sandy Hill Road, Plymouth Meeting, PA 19462. The property location is 1733 Willow Street. The applicant and the owner are the same. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 320-292A2A3 to permit the use of an abandoned triplex in the R-2 residential district. Thank you.
Yes, it's John Brodeur, John. Brodeur is Brodeur. Yes.
John McShay.
Floor is yours, Mr. McShay.
Good evening. My name is John McShay. As I mentioned, here on behalf of John Brodeur. Similar to the application before me, I'd ask that I may proceed by offer of proof here tonight.
No problem.
The application is, again, similar to what you just heard before. The property, 1733 Willow Street, is an existing triplex. My client purchased the property in 2021. At that time, it was being used as a triplex. He did obtain a use and occupancy permit from the municipality for a triplex. It's a two-story building with 3 residential units, all served by separate utilities, separate kitchens, separate entrances, walls separating all of the units. It's been occupied consistently since, all 3 units have been occupied consistently since 2021. And historically, prior to my client purchasing, the county property records show that the property has been used since the triplex since at least 2014. That's as far back as we could find. I did hand up an exhibit booklet, and if you page through there, Exhibit 2 and Exhibit 3 are just 2 Google photographs of the property. The 4th exhibit is the temporary use and occupancy permit, which was issued for a triplex in 2021 to my client. Exhibit 5, behind tab 5, that's the document from the county's property records, dated 2014, which shows that in March 2014, a permit was issued for a triplex use. Exhibit 6 is the zoning determination determining that my client had lost the zoning due to failure to obtain a rental licensing permit. And then Exhibit 7 in that booklet is the layout of the property of the home, where you can see the 3 existing residential units. I mentioned my client obtained the temporary use and occupancy in 2021. He did not obtain a rental license permit at that time, and he does owe those fees. And so we would obviously agree that if a variance was granted to permit the continuation of the triplex use, that all back fees would be paid up to and brought up to date. So if there's any questions from my client, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, we'll go to the municipality.
The subject property is an abandoned triplex located in the R2 district. The last rental license was obtained in 2021, but we have a history of valid rental licenses dating back to 2013, each for 3 units.
Thank you. We'll open it up for public comment. Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application? Please come up to the podium. Just yield the podium for a second.
Najaja, N-A-J-A. Allen, A-L-L-E-N. A-L-L-E-N. Yes. I just want to speak because I am here in opposition of this variance being granted. I've been a tenant here as of March 17th, 2025, and literally since the first month, there has been serious concerns of habitability, pest control, mold, utility issues that are currently ongoing. I do have documentation here. I have requested for the rental license to be presented months ago, which that was still not presented. The issues are still currently not resolved. And even as of right now, as soon as I got home from work, I was trying to rush to come here. There's an active flood in the basement. So I just asked the board to consider that before, consider this variance before being granted prematurely, to have some conditions put on there and serious inspections done in this property.
You're a tenant of the building?
Yes.
Thank you.
How long have you been a tenant of the property?
March 17th, 2025.
Thank you.
So right now, is it currently is it a triplex right now, or is it a duplex right now?
It's a triplex.
What, you're passing up some information. Do you want to?
Photos, documentations, all of the current issues that I'm having.
Can you just summarize some of the information that's in this folder for us?
Yes. So during the first month of my tenancy there at 1733 Willow, I experienced a bird flying around in my bathroom due to the huge hole that you would see in the photo. I'm here with my 7-year-old daughter. That caused a great fear on her. We were still getting acclimated to being at the property. That still has not been resolved. They came and they put tape over it, duct tape, as you can see. I've then had my whole ceiling collapse in August. I've went without water multiple occasions, no heat, no hot water in winter months. I've also reported that to Norristown Municipality. I've had to pay for hotels. I've had to repair washers myself. And a lot of these issues are ongoing, including the utility mix-up. I'm currently being threatened for my electric to be shut off because the landlord and the property management company failed to disclose and communicate that there was a difference between floor 1 and unit 1. I am on the first floor, so I assumed that apartment 1, floor 1 was all the same. But instead, I was paying my neighbor's utility bill, so that's now $2,500. They have now moved out, and my electric is being threatened to get turned off. I did communicate with the landlord. He said that it was a mistake and he was paying my electric, and he threatened to end my lease within 10 days if I did not send him proof of the electricity, which I did, but this issue has not been resolved.
Ms. Williams, are you going to comment on this application?
Very quickly, though, may I speak with you after the meeting so I can get your contact information? Given the concerns raised by this resident, I think that it may be appropriate if you all would like to request a continuance to handle these matters, maybe?
Yeah, well, certainly they're important, but I think the application is for a use to permit the use of the home, and then, the use and occupancy issues and building permit issues, those are separate. So you have to get the use permitted first, and then go through the required permitting and use and occupancy process with the municipality. But you can't do that until you get a use approved. So this is our first step.
I don't disagree, Mr. McShay, but he could address some of these issues in advance without inspections.
Totally agree with you. I haven't been to the home, so I'm only representing what I've been told, is that a number of the issues that are included in that packet have been resolved over the past few months, and especially a number of the pictures of holes in walls and things like that. My understanding is those no longer exist, but I haven't been there to expect for myself.
I'd just like to say something. I do have a property manager, and I have no open property management requests for any repairs at the property as of this time. So, and I certainly want to make sure and do right by the tenant to make sure that anything that is outstanding is addressed and resolved in a timely manner for her.
May I ask, when was the last time an inspection was performed on this property?
We don't have those records here.
I think from a board perspective, we're happy to continue to the next meeting. Sure. I mean, we have no objection.
And we also request interior photos. None were provided in our packet to see what the current condition is.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a fair request, I think.
And we'll provide them at the next continued hearing date.
There's May 6th, special hearing, 26th. The 2 dates, so you're fine. I believe the 2 dates are the May 6th. They're having a special hearing, and the first date is May 26th, which is the next regular meeting.
Yeah. Either one, I believe that's, one is next Wednesday.
So we have are you going to make a request for continuance then?
Yes, sir. And we're just discussing the best available date.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is the next regular meeting May 26th?
Yes.
Okay, yes. May 26th at 7 p.m.
So if it works, we'd request the 26th, date, the May 26th hearing.
Yeah, we'll have you on the agenda for May 26th.
Great, thank you.
Just a quick question for the applicant. Can you just talk about what is triggering this, this application this evening?
Because I wanted to make sure that I got the rental license. So I 4 years ago when I purchased the property, it was a busy time in my life. I just had a kid and turned it over to a property manager. And no, I just wanted to start the process to get it, get the rental license.
So didn't receive any inspection that's triggering this, no intent to sale that's triggering this?
Nope, just to go through the process and, restart the process that I started back in 2021.
Okay, thank you. We're just going to continue with public comment, see if there's anybody else here this evening that wants to testify either in favor or against the application. All right, so with that said, we're,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna watch what I say then. How you doing? Dustin Queen and Councilman of District 3?
Solemnly swear affirm the testimony about the case with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. What I just heard just now has been a great concern of council. When we approve these things that they haven't had their license, we would love to sit down and have a conversation, and maybe it's an ordinance we need to create, that they need to be re-inspected. Because I'm just going to take good faith that what the young lady is saying, that's not a livable situation. And I guess we got to double check on our ordinance, because I think the landlord, if it's inhabitable, is supposed to pay for them to be in the hotel. So there's investigations that really definitely need to be done in that particular case. If she's spending her own money, if it is flooded, we're definitely going to talk to code. We need to go out there ASAP, because we're here to protect our citizens. And even the case before, we should definitely inspect the property. If they're out of, maybe we just not be in accordance with each other. If they're trying to renew their license, that means no one's inspected it because they haven't had a license. So maybe that should be a requirement. We work together before we know it, that they have to go through that step. And we got to make sure our citizens are taken care of. So we're definitely going to be talking about this tomorrow within the council. And I'm glad you had the courage to come up, because a lot of people wouldn't say anything of fear of being homeless, but we're going to make sure we're working with you. And also the landlord, we're going to make sure you're in compliance and respect our citizens. If you're saying it's your management company, maybe you need to switch. And that's why I want to say, council, we listen, and this is a brand new council. This is going to be a brand new Norristown. We're going to be following through. This stuff like this is not going to happen, not especially in my watch. I was born and raised in Norristown. I don't want nothing for Norristown. I just want the respect and dignity that we're always supposed to have. So I'll definitely contact you. I'll give you my card before you leave. Thank you. Thank you.
so with that said, I'll make a motion to continue this to, what date was it?
26th.
5/26, the next regularly scheduled meeting. Somebody want to second that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, applications continued. All right, the next application we have is application 1326. The applicant is VM Realty of 2017 Clonmel Road, Harleysville, PA, 19438. The applicant, the property location is 1314 DeKalb Street, Norristown, PA. The applicant and the property owner are the same. The applicant is requesting a variance from section 320-106, use regulations, to permit 12 residential units on the property in the OCR District. Good evening.
May it please the board. Good evening. My name's Jerry Mullaney. I represent the applicant VM Realty LLC. Let me start by beginning. We submitted an amended application I don't know, Mr. Saraceni, if you received that via email a couple of weeks ago.
I did receive it. I don't know
Okay.
about the board.
So you were, Mr. Matthews, you were reading from the original application. The relief sought is actually for 9 units, not 12. That's the only amendment.
9 verse 12.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
Well, yeah, actually, originally, as it was advertised, it showed 24 units. So it's not 24, it was originally 12, but it's actually 9.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So,
Marlene, is that for both buildings or just?
so it would be 3 and 6. We'll get into it and
Okay.
explain.
Thank you.
Yes. May I proceed? Okay. What? Yeah. Mr. Jack Holtz?
State spell point name,
Jack Holtz, H-O-L-Z.
H-O-L-Z. Thank you. Anybody else?
That's it.
Solemnly swear or affirm testimony about the case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So, Board, I've asked Mr. Holtz to speak on behalf of, this is Vika Sharma, the managing member of VM Realty LLC here tonight. Mr. Holtz will speak on his behalf. Sir, can you introduce yourself to the board, please?
Jack Holtz, architect.
Are you employed?
I am.
And how so?
I have my own business, Jack Holtz Architect.
Can you give the board a brief description of your work history and educational background?
I've been a licensed architect for 40 years and in the business for over 50. Worked in a number of areas on the West Coast in New York, and moved back to my hometown in 1990 and have practiced on my own since 2010.
Okay. Are you a licensed certified
Yes.
architect?
I'm licensed in Pennsylvania, yes.
Okay. And have you testified in zoning hearings such as this before?
I have.
Had Mr. Sharma elicited your services to assist him with the property we're here about tonight?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And did you create plans and designs that will assist the board here this evening?
I created the packet that was distributed for this hearing board.
Okay. So can we start with just giving a brief history for the property? The property is 1314 and 1316 DeKalb Street, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Can you give the board a brief history of this property as you understand it?
The building is on a very narrow lot. It seems to be one building, but there is a property line in the middle. So it's a 40-foot wide building and 10,000 square feet total. And there's 6,000 square feet of usable space and 4,000 square feet of circulation and common area and storage area, and that's counting the basement. So it's 3 stories high, approximately just under 35 feet. And everything else about this property is non-conforming as far as OCR district regulations, existing non-conforming. There's no room for the setbacks because the plots themselves are so narrow. And the front setback is encroached by the existing building, and the rear setback is respected. The existing use has been commercial, and I'm sure you have a better history of what's been going on there from 1910 until the charity organization moved out last year. But it seems to be a perfect candidate for a renovation for a multi-use, multi-family building.
So the property is 3 floors, 3 commercial spaces, and a basement?
That's correct.
How many parking spots currently exist?
9 by 18, we can fit 14 on the existing asphalt.
Okay. So should the board grant the relief Mr. Vikas is seeking, what are the intentions with this property?
Well, the intentions are to put 9 units, 3 in one of the properties and 6 in the other. So we're looking at, 6 one-bedroom apartments and 3 two-bedroom apartments.
And can you explain which side gets what units?
Yes, 1314 and 1316 are the same width, but they share a common corridor that runs front to back on 1316. So the usable space in 1316 is about 11 feet and approximately 14 feet usable space on the other side of the corridor. There's an existing firewall that separates the 2 buildings, but it functions as a single building.
So on what side would be the 6 apartments?
The 6 apartments would be on the 1314, the wider side.
And that's the 1314?
That's correct.
And can you describe the number of bedrooms in these apartments?
The 6 units will all have 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and living, dining area. And the 2 bedrooms will have the same amenities with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath.
Would the apartments be situated inside the existing structure?
Yes, yes.
Would
No
there-
additions are to be made.
No additions of the footprint whatsoever?
No.
How would the tenants access the upper floors?
There's a main stair at the front and a egress stair in the back that can also be used as a common access stair. The back stair is accessible to the rear parking.
Are the stairwells fire rated?
The front is fire rated from the 2nd floor up. Currently, it has an open lobby and an open stair up to the 2nd floor. We would propose to fire rate that down to the 1st floor lobby.
And how about the rear stairwell?
It is an existing fire rated stair.
Do the stairwells meet ingress egress requirements for all units?
They do.
Is this property also equipped with a fire sprinkler system?
There is a standpipe, and I haven't inspected it since the owner has just purchased the property, and we were waiting till that happened. But with a change of use, I would specify an NFPA 13D sprinkler system in all the units.
So you would keep what's there and expand on it?
Yes, I'm sure it would have to be expanded on.
Okay. Other than the changes involving the stairwell and the construction of the apartments, would there be any other changes to the interior of the building?
There'll be some selective demolition for existing partition walls that created the offices for the last tenant. That'll have to be demolished and new partitions erected to suit the plans for the apartments.
And what would be the proposed use for the basement?
Right now, we're looking at a common area for laundry and tenant storage, and a separate area for the mechanical and electrical utility.
How was parking determined for the proposed use?
Well, we maxed out the existing asphalt area at 14 cars, and based on the 9 units now, we can get 14 units, 14 parking spots, or 11 parking spots and 2 handicap spots, depending on the Type B requirements for handicapped apartments on the first floor.
And are the 11 spaces consistent with the requirements for multi-use properties?
9 by 18 and turning radiuses and a shared driving aisle, yes.
And this parking area already exists, correct?
It does. It just would need to be striped and concrete curbs. Wheel stops would be installed.
Am I correct that the only change to the exterior of the building would be the addition of a dumpster enclosure?
Other than to the building itself, yes, that would be correct.
And I know, just if you can explain to the board, it's located on the plan you designed, correct?
Yes, I showed it between the building and the first parking spot.
Would the location of this dumpster area impact the parking area in any way?
No, it shouldn't, no.
And is it located in a way that there would be easy access for trash trucks to come in and access the dumpsters?
Yes.
Mr. Holtz, it's my understanding that you assisted Mr. Sharma, or that Mr. Sharma owns a property directly across the street at 1305 DeKalb Street, correct?
That's correct.
And did you assist Mr. Sharma in the development of that property?
I did.
How many units is that property?
It's a duplex.
Did Mr. Sharma obtain similar zoning relief for that property?
He did.
Was the property rehabbed after zoning relief was granted?
Directly after the zoning relief was granted, the Historical Architectural Review Board also approved it with some recommendations, and the building was rehabbed based on Harb's recommendations and my plans.
And did Mr. Sharma conform with the recommendations of the Historical Board?
He did.
How long did the renovations take?
Approximately a year.
Sir, I'm going to show you photographs for the record. I assume we're A1. Do you recognize what's shown in the photographs?
I do. Can you explain to the board what you're looking at, please?
That's a typical kitchen for one of the units, both units, yeah, the two units in the duplex.
Go on to the other pages.
That's the bathroom after the renovation. And well, these are the finished rooms. Yeah. Flooring's been redone, ceilings have been installed, partitions have been finished, and electrical work's been completed.
May I approach?
May I see? The municipality will be entering into.
Yep, please. I have another set. Mr. Holtz, are the proposed renovations for 1314 and 1316 consistent with the renovations that occurred across the street?
They will be.
And is the proposed use of 1314 and 1316 DeKalb Street consistent with the surrounding neighborhood?
I believe it is. I have shown on the packet that was distributed, apartment buildings, triplexes, duplexes in the surrounding area.
in the OCR district, and it seems to be pretty prevalent. 13 or 14 properties that contain apartment buildings.
In your opinion, would the proposed change in use of 1314 and 1316 DeKalb Street have any impact on the traffic in the surrounding community?
I believe it will even have a reduction in traffic compared to office and commercial.
And in your opinion, would the proposed change of use at 1314 and 1316 DeKalb Street have any impact on the health, welfare, or safety of the surrounding community?
No, there's nothing dangerous about an apartment building.
That's all I have.
Mr. Mullane, before you step up, Mr. Williams, do you want to mark any of your exhibits before we continue?
I marked that A1. I don't know if the application was A1. You didn't say.
No, we'll mark them whatever way you want. What did you mark as A1?
Well, the application typically is A1.
Yeah.
So I would assume that would be A2.
And the pictures? And how about the floor plans?
Oh,
These plans,
okay, thank you. So.
we'll mark them collectively as A3?
Do we have that packet? So there's two packets, one for each property.
But we're going to have to, they're two separate parcels, so we have to have them separate.
Correct. So there's two applications, so let's start over. So, how about application for 1314 is A1?
And that's the 6 units.
That is the 6 units. The application for 1316 would be A2.
Well, no, we got to have a separate,
Yeah, let's call it B1.
yeah, we have to have a separate hearing
Yeah,
for that property.
I'm calling the drawings project number A, and then 1316 is the project number B.
But we can do this. 1316 has 3 units. And its application will be marked as A1.
Correct.
And do you have plans or pictures of that, for that application?
So with the applications, there were 2 packets submitted, as Mr. Holtz just said. There was a packet for 1314, and there was a packet for 1316.
Right, so all the board received, myself included, are the plans.
Correct.
May I see which plans, because there
They're
wasn't.
dated April 2nd, sorry. They're dated April 2nd.
That's correct. Yes, the second one.
Right.
And there, but that is B, there should be an A.
That would be this one. That's the old
correct.
one.
That's correct.
So for 1316, we have the application A1 and the plans as A2. And that building has 3 units, 1316 DeKalb.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And so the photographs would be A3.
Well, which,
The standalone photographs of 1305, yes, those.
so they're common for both?
No, they were for the property across the street, just to illustrate what the renovations should look like.
Understood, okay.
Yes,
All right, so we'll have them for both for that purpose.
that's fine. Yep.
So they'll look, just to be consistent, 1316's exhibits are A1 application, A2, the pictures again, and A3, the April 2nd, 2026 plans. Yes, April 2nd, 2026. Okay, sorry, Ms. Williams.
No, you're fine, no need to apologize. Finish your podium.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Deanna Williams, on behalf of the municipality, thank you. We are in opposition of this application because of the place where they're asking to do it. The OCR District, that acronym stands for the Office, Commercial, and Retail District. It was created with the legislative intent to provide for office, government, and commercial employment opportunities in the addition to limited residential in that area. That limited residential is the same that's in R1, which is single-family homes and bed and breakfasts, not 9-unit apartment complexes. This also does not fit within the special exceptions that are listed in the ordinance 32106, because it is not being converted from an existing residential into a commercial. It's already a commercial building being converted into residential. It's also not a bed and breakfast. There will be no restaurant with or without outdoor dining included. It's not a shopping center, an animal hospital, a veterinary office, or a parking garage. Additionally, the applicant here noted that some of the characteristics of the property, but in their application, those characteristics were not noted as physical characteristics or conditions that are creating an undue hardship that would prevent them from complying with the zoning requirements as listed in the OCR district. So they could conform if they saw fit, and it doesn't seem that from this current plan that would be happening. And finally, just to close, I will add that because of the nature of this district, the office, commercial, and retail district, adding 9 apartment homes could materially alter the existing essential character of that neighborhood or district, as that is, even as they noted, there is a duplex there, but a 9-unit apartment home will be, or even a 6-unit apartment home and a 3-unit apartment home together will be considerably different in character than that of a duplex or any of the other office or commercial retail businesses that are already in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mulaney, do you want to address the hardship
Well, the
issue?
hardship is, there is no commercial use in that area anymore. It's something that's dying, especially since COVID. There's no use, the property's been vacant for a year. The property was sold at a discount because no one's gonna lease it commercially. It's not feasible. And this is the best use for that property. Since COVID, people are working from home. There's less and less commercial people going to work, commercial establishments, and there is no better use in the property than that currently. So.
Okay.
Board have any questions for the applicant?
And by the way, there are multiple apartment units in that area that have been converted, buildings such as this, like the relief granted to Mr. Sharma last year by this board. This is not, yeah, I mean, just looking at the map, there's many multiple unit buildings in that very area that have been converted buildings. So there is a precedent here.
That whole block seems to be churches and condominiums and apartments.
Thank you.
Board have any questions?
I guess my concern is the 6-unit building. I believe that's 13, 14.
Right.
Has there been any consideration with changing the configuration of that? Maybe instead of 6 1-bedroom units to make it, maybe some 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom units?
There have been, yes. Yeah, we've been thinking about the right number that works with the square footage and with the owner's calculations for profit. But we feel that we could even live with three units in each building.
So that's something that you've considered before, 3 units in each building?
Right, so that would be 6 units.
Total, between the 2 units?
Yeah, 2 triplexes for 2 buildings.
Okay.
I'm just, back to the question raised by municipal council around the hardship aspect. Just heard, anecdotal evidence at best on that. So what is the material hardship there?
I don't know if I have anything else to say tonight. I mean, I'm familiar with the area. There's just no viable commercial development going on in that area. It's just the opposite. It's older buildings being rehabbed for living units really is what's happening there. As you can see in the maps, no one's rushing to set up businesses in that area. Do I have specifics more than that this evening? I don't. We could certainly obtain them.
Thank you. Anything else from the board? Okay. Assume good from municipality standpoint? Or anything else you want to say?
Nah. I'll say it. The subject property is located in the Office Commercial Retail District, proposing 9 residential units between 1314 DeKalb and the neighboring 1316.
Thank you. We'll open up for a public comment. Anybody from the public want to testify either in favor or opposition of the application? Please speak up now. Seeing no public comment, we'll close public comment. Any summation or anything else you want to tell the board?
I think we've summarized it well during the presentation.
Thank you. With that said, is there a motion to close the hearing for 13-26?
Mr. Matthews, I will say, going back to, what Mr. Dennis raised, just one final comment. We are receptive to fewer units, if that's an option. We would agree to a 3-and-3 arrangement if that would be better.
Thank you. Can we go off the record briefly?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, you asked earlier if any applicants would be willing to request a continuance. Yeah, we are application 22-26. We'd request a continuance at this time if we can get on the May 6th docket or listing. 22-26 is the application. If we can get on the May 6th hearing. Great. Thank you. Name is Guy Villam, V-I-L-I-M. G-U-Y. V-I-L-I-M. Sure.
Back on the record, please. to go back on the?
Yeah. No?
Ready? We're ready to go back on the record? Okay.
We're back on the record. Where are we at?
Mr. Mullane, do you have anything else to offer?
No, nothing, get public comment. So it's a motion to close. All right, is there a motion to close the hearing for application 14-26? I'm sorry, just make sure I have the right application. 1326.
13, 26, and 14.
And 14, it's
We're gonna
two
do
of
both,
them.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So moved.
Is there a second on the motion?
Which one is which?
Second on the motion to close?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a decision on 1326 and 1426?
Doesn't matter. Present the motion. So,
Are we okay to do a joint decision for the two properties, or do we need to do two decisions?
We'll do two separate decisions.
I'll make a motion that we approve a variance for 3 units for case 13-26 at 1314 DeKalb. Can I make this 2 motions together? Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm opposed. So motion carries 3-1.
Now on motion for 13, 16, DeKalb.
Yes, and I'd also like to make a motion to approve the variance for 3 units for case 14-26 at 1316 DeKalb.
Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm opposed. The motion carries 3-1. Both applications are approved.
Now we can.
Continuance.
Thank you.
Application 2220-26. And we're seeking seeking a listing on the May 6th listing, hearing date.
Norristown Hospitality Center?
Correct.
And you're available May 6th?
Yes.
Okay. We'll continue that. It's 22-26, 449 East Lafayette to May 6th.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Do you have your card?
Believe it or not, I'm a lawyer who didn't bring a
I do it
card.
all.
You need my, I can
Give me, no, just give me your name.
It's Guy Villam.
Last name also?
Guy Villam, V-I-L-I-M.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, Mr. Saraceni, Christopher Dormer on behalf of Norristown Area School District, item 2126.
Wait.
Certainly. My name's Christopher Dormer, D-O-R-M-E-R, on behalf of Norristown Area School District. Application 2126, we'd also like to request a continuance with request for May 6th as well, and we are available. May 6th. Thank you both.
26. Well, go ahead.
Yes, application.
Guys, can you hold the volume down in here, please? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Application 2026, I would like to show up for May 6th. May 6th? 2026. Yes, sir. Yes. Olanrewaju. Olanrewaju.
Second, Ed, that's,
Yeah, last name is A Jibade.
Ed, that's 2326, not 20.
No, mine is 2026. Yes, please. No. Oh, it's not? Oh, okay. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Anyone else?
We're going to be requesting a continuance. I think I heard there's not really a likely chance that we would go at the next hearing since we're the next. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. My name's Eric Romanowski. We're, 1626 Spartan Investment Groups. For May 6th, I believe you said it was pretty packed, so unlikely we would go unless we were put on for the later hearing in May.
You want to go May 26th?
If it's unlikely, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be first then obviously for May 6th, correct?
Yeah, no.
Okay, we'll do the May 26th.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Sure, sorry. ROMANOWSKI. Appreciate it.
That was 1526. Anyone here for 17-26, Dylan Baird? 618 West Lafayette. I believe he was here at the last hearing, maybe? Yeah. You want to continue it anyway? Yeah. You want to continue it to the May 26th? Yeah, I thought he was here I knew he was there last time. I didn't know about this one. And that leaves one more. Mr. Fury?
Members of the board, good evening. What's your pleasure with regard to this matter?
Well, May 6th is filled up pretty well. You could try it.
No, we would, unless you want to hear it tonight, we would request May 26th.
Yeah, you want to try May 6th?
No, May 26th.
May 26th.
Yeah, we have a witness who's actually not available on the 6th anyway.
Okay, so we'll go May 26th for this.
May 26th.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see you all again.
That was 1926.
Just as a point of clarification, for the May 6th meeting, since it's not a regularly scheduled meeting, is it at the same 7 o'clock time? Or
Yes.
Same time. Thank you.
I think that covers everybody. Motion closed? Yeah, you want to close?
The board want to make a motion to close? Second? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Ed.